Chapter 12. A drunkard lived on the next planet. It was a very short visit, but it upset the little prince a lot. "What are you doing here?" he asked the drunkard who was sitting quietly among the empty and full bottles. "I am drinking alcohol," said the drunkard gloomily. "Why are you drinking it?" asked the little prince. "In order to forget," answered the drunkard. "In order to forget what?" The little prince couldn't calm down because he felt sorry for him. "To forget that I am shamed," the drunkard admitted, hanging down his head. "Ashamed of what?" the little prince went on. He wanted to help so much. "I am ashamed that I drink alcohol." The drunkard finished his speech and became silent. The perplexed little prince left. "Adults are indeed extremely strange," he thought to himself, and carried on his journey. Chapter 13. The fourth planet belonged to a businessman. This man was so busy that he didn't even raise his head when the little prince arrived. "Good morning," the little prince said. "Your cigarette has gone out." "3 and 2 make 5. 5 and 7 make 12. 12 and 3 make 15. Good morning. 15 and 7 make 22. 22 and 6 make 28. I didn't have time to light my cigarette. 28 and 5 make 33. Phew! In total, it's 500,622,701. 500 million of what?" the little prince asked. "Ah, are you still here? 500 million. I can't stop. I have a lot to do. I am busy with very important stuff. I can't waste my time. 2 and 5 make 7. 500 million of what?" the little prince asked, because he never left the question he asked. The businessman raised his head. "I have been living on this planet for 54 years, and I was interrupted only 3 times. The first time was when a light-minded goose fell out of nowhere. He made the most disgusting sound that echoed all over the planet, and as a result I made 4 mistakes in my estimations. The second time was when a rheumatic disease distracted me 11 years ago. I don't move enough. I don't have time to lounge. And the third time is you. I said then 501 million. Millions of what?" The businessman realized he didn't have any chance to be left alone until he answered the question. "Millions of these small objects that you can see in the sky sometimes," he said. "Flies?" "No, small lights." "Bees?" "No, small golden objects that make lazy people dream. As to me, I am busy with very important stuff. I don't have time for careless dreaming." "Ah, do you mean stars?" "Yes, stars." "What do you do with 500,000 of these stars?" 500,622,701. I am busy with very important stuff. I am very accurate." "What do you do with these stars?" "What do I do with them?" "Yes." "Nothing. I possess them." "Do you possess the stars?" "I do. But I have met a king that kings don't possess, they reign. It's completely different." "Why are you possessing them?" "Due to them, I am becoming richer." "Why do you need to be rich?" "To buy more stars if they are discovered." In a way, this man is talking like my poor drunkard, the little prince thought to himself. However, he had more questions. "How is it possible to possess stars?" "Who do they belong to?" the businessman muttered. "I don't know. To nobody." "In this case, they belong to me because I was the first one to come up with this idea." "Is that all you need?" "Certainly. When you find a diamond that doesn't belong to anybody, it is yours. If you discover no one's island, it is yours. If you have an idea that nobody had before, you patent it and it is yours. In my case, I possess the stars because nobody thought about this earlier than me." "Well, that's true," the little prince said. What do you do with them?" "I record them," the businessman answered. "I count them and then count them again. It is hard, but I am naturally interested in stuff of great importance." But the little prince wasn't satisfied with the answer. "If I have a silk scarf and I tie it around my neck and go out with it, if I have a flower, I can pick it up and take it with me, but you can't take stars with you," he said. "No, but I can put them into a bank." "What does it mean?" "It means I will write the number of stars on paper, and then I will put it in a box and lock it." "Is that all?" "That is enough," the businessman said. "That's funny. It's even rather poetical. but it's not very important. To the little prince, important stuff was something different than what it is with adults. I have a flower which I water every day, he continued his conversation with the businessman. I have 3 volcanoes as well that I scrub every week. I also scrub the dead volcano because you never know. My volcanoes, as well as my flower, benefit from my being possessed by me, but it makes no difference to the stars whether you possess them or not. The businessman was just going to open his mouth, but he had nothing to reply to it, and the little prince left. All adults are definitely strange, he said to himself simply, and went on his traveling. Chapter 14. The 5th planet was very strange. It seemed to be very small. There was a place only for a lamp and a man who lit it, a lamplighter. The little prince couldn't understand the necessity of the lamp and the lamplighter in space if there were no people or houses. However, he said to himself, it is entirely possible that this person is absurd too, but not to such extent as the king, the vain man, the drunkard, or the businessman. At least his job is reasonable. When he switches the lamp on, it's as if he brings to life another star or flower. When he switches the lamp off, he sends the flower or star to sleep. It's beautiful work. As long as it's beautiful, it will be useful. When he arrived at a planet, he greeted the lamplighter respectfully. Good morning. Why do you switch the lamp off a moment ago? That is a regular procedure, the lamplighter answered. Good morning. What kind of regular procedure is this? The procedure when you have to switch off the lamp. Good evening. And he switched the lamp on again. But why did you switch it on again? This is the regular procedure. I don't understand, the little prince said. There is nothing to understand, the lamplighter said. A procedure is a procedure. Good morning. He switched the lamp off. Then he dried his forehead with a red checked handkerchief. I keep doing an awful job. It used to be reasonable. I switched the lamp off in the morning and switched it on in the evening. I rested during the day and slept at night. Did it change? The procedure didn't change, the lamplighter told. That's the tragedy. The planet turns around faster and faster every year, but the procedure does not change. And what now? The little prince asked. Now the planet makes a complete turn in a minute, and I don't have time to rest. I need to switch the lamp on and switch it off every minute. What a joke! Here where you live, the day lasts only 1 minute. It's not funny, the lamplighter said. A month has passed while we have been talking. A month? Yes, a month. 30 minutes, 30 days. Good evening. And he switched the lamp on again. Whilst the little prince was watching him, he felt sympathy for this lamplighter who performed his duties so scrupulously. He remembered the sunsets he used to watch only by moving his chair, so he decided to help his friend. You know, I can tell you how you can rest whenever you wish, he said. I want to rest all the time, the lamplighter said. A person can be responsible and lazy at the same time. The little prince explained, Your planet is so small that you can make 3 steps and walk around it. In order to stay in the sun all the time, all you need to do is walk slowly forward. When you need to have a rest, you will walk and the day will last as long as you wish. It won't help me greatly, the lamplighter said. I like sleeping. Then you are not lucky, the little prince said. I am not lucky, the lamplighter said. Good morning. And he switched the lamp off. Everyone would laugh at this man, the little prince thought when he continued his journey. The king, the vain man, the drunkard, and the businessman would laugh at him. However, he is the only one among them who doesn't seem ludicrous. It is possible because he thinks about something else except himself. He sighed pitifully and said, This man is the only one who I would like to be my friend, but his planet is indeed too small. There is no place for 2. The little prince didn't care to admit that a real reason why he hesitated to leave the planet was the fact that it had 1,440 sunsets per day. Chapter 15. The 6th planet was 10 times larger than the previous one. An elderly man who had been writing voluminous books lived there. Look, here is our discoverer, he exclaimed when he spotted the little prince. The little prince sat at the table and took a breath. He had traveled so much and been so far. Where are you from? The elderly gentleman asked him. What is this huge book? The little prince said. What are you doing? I am a geographer, the gentleman told him. What's a geographer? The little prince asked. The geographer is a scientist who knows where all the seas, rivers, cities, mountains, and deserts are situated. Very interesting, the little prince exclaimed. At least I meet a man who has a real profession. He looked around the geographer's planet. It was the most stunning and magnificent planet he had ever seen. Your planet is very beautiful. Are there any oceans here? I can't tell, the geographer replied. Ah, the little prince was disappointed. Are there any mountains? I can't tell, the geographer answered. Are there any cities, rivers, or deserts? I can't tell this as well. But you are a geographer. That's true, the geographer said. But I am not an explorer. There aren't any explorers on my planet. It's not the geographer's task to count cities, rivers, mountains, seas, or deserts. The geographer's work is too important to just wander around. He doesn't leave his place. But he sees explorers for his studies. He asks questions and writes down everything. They tell him about their traveling. If the geographer is interested in someone's story, he wants to receive a reference about this person. Why? If an explorer lied, it could be very bad for the geographer's books. The same would happen if the explorer had too much alcohol. Why? Everything is divided in two for drunken people. In that case, a geographer will mark 2 mountains where there's only one. I know someone who would be a poor explorer, the little prince said. You may be right. If a letter of recommendation for the explorer is positive, the inquiries about his discovery will be made. Will you go and look for him? No, it would be too difficult. The explorer has to show the evidence. For example, if it is a case of a big mountain, the geographer asks him to bring him huge stones from there. Suddenly, the geographer fussed. You have come from far away, haven't you? You are an explorer. You have to describe your planet for me. The geographer opened his big record book and sharpened a pencil. At first, the description of a place by the explorer is written with a pencil. Until the explorer shows the evidence, nothing is written in ink. So? The anticipating geographer asked. Oh, said the little prince, there's nothing really interesting where I live. Everything is rather tiny. I have 3 volcanoes, 2 of them active, 1 is dead, but you never know for sure. You never know for sure, confirmed the geographer. I have a flower as well. We don't take records of flowers, the geographer said. Why? The flower is the most beautiful thing on my planet. We don't take records of them because they don't last long, the geographer said. What does it mean? Geography is the most important book among all the books. It never ages. It happens very rarely when a mountain changes its position. An ocean dries out very rarely. We write about timeless things. But dead volcanoes can come to life again, the little prince interrupted him. What do you mean things don't last long? It doesn't matter to us whether the volcano is active or dead, the geographer said. The fact that it's a mountain is important to us. The mountain doesn't change. What do you mean when you say that they don't last long? It means they are not in danger of quick extinction. Is my flower in danger of quick extinction? Certainly. My flower won't live for a long time, he said to himself. The beauty has only 4 thorns to defend itself from the world, and I have left it alone on the planet. At that moment he felt sorry for the first time, but he took a deep breath and asked, What place would you recommend me to visit next? The planet Earth, the geographer said. It has a good record. Although he was still thinking about his flower, the little prince continued his journey.